for joining our latest webinar. For those of you who have not met me before, I'm Thomas. I'm the CMO of ThriveCart, and I'm also fortunate to be joined by Ismael Wrixen, who is the CEO of ThriveCart. We're like a couple of minutes early. We're going to probably start about 5 minutes past the hour, so it's like 12:05 Eastern, because there's quite a few of you still coming in. We had thousands of people registered for the webinar. This is the third webinar we've run now, and this is the most attendees we had so far. So we're very grateful for everyone who's taken the time out of their day to join us. Hopefully, most of you got a chance to submit questions in advance. We had well over 100 questions from you, so very much appreciate that. We are going to, for the purpose of the webinar, Ismael's going to run through a short presentation. Then we're going to work through the questions in advance, and we're going to try to get through as many of them as we can. And then all the questions as well are going to be public. You should see it on the right-hand side of your screen. So feel free to write questions as we go, and we will try to get to some of those. But again, there are a lot of you, so we're going to focus on the questions that were pre-submitted. And then after the webinar, it's likely there'll be a recording that we can send around. Any of you that have questions that are specific to you personally, we will answer one-on-one. So you'll get a message from someone in the support team probably after the webinar. We're going to focus on questions which are relevant to the majority today. So yeah, thanks so much for joining. I know there's lots of you coming in. Like, tell us in the chat where you're dialing in from. It looks like lots of different places. Cool. We got people from everywhere. We've got a lot of people from the US. We've got a lot of people from the UK, London. We've got a lot of people from London. Some of you said you haven't had a chance to submit questions in advance. Like I said, feel free to submit them. We're very much going to be focused on presenting the webinar, so I want to try and avoid be sat here like reading questions throughout the whole thing. But we'll do our best to get to everybody's questions. Anything we miss, we will follow up with separately. Cool. Well, thanks so much. I'm going to hand over to Ismael. Like I said, Ismael's going to start with a short presentation. Then we're going to get into your questions, and then we'll go from there. We have about an hour in the diary, but it's a possibility we'll run over that. We'll see how it goes. So very much appreciate everyone's time. Thanks so much, and I'll hand to Ismael, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you very much, Thomas, and appreciate everybody joining today. Yeah, great attendance. Yeah, huge amount of people on, so I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all to go through some of the roadmap items that we have for the rest of this year, but leaning into 2026 as well. So before we jump into that, probably worth giving everybody a quick update as to where the business is at this point in time, just to help understand the platform that we are that we're building on. So as of now, we have crossed over 6 billion in lifetime sales. That's across over 50 million products sold, and that is throughout our merchant and user base of over 65,000 at this stage. That number is scaling. So last year alone, so 2024 alone, we did around 2 billion in sales, 7.8 million products sold, and we added 8,300 new merchants and creators to the platform. So certainly, going in the right direction overall in terms of, the business itself. As many of you know, though, as the business has grown, it's when we acquired the business or kind of took over the business in early 2023, it was a team of 4 individuals running the business, and I don't think in any regards they had, the idea that the business would get to, this level of success. Fast forward that to where we are today, we're at 125 people now and still growing. That approximately splits out into a third CS and support, a third product, and a third dev. So we are much better geared up now to deliver on a lot of innovative items that may have been lacking from the platform over the past couple of years, and good reason for that. As we kind of started to hit that 2 billion plus a year in sales number across all of everybody on the platform, certainly the original version of the business certainly wasn't designed to process that much volume. So what we've been spending the majority of our time doing is going back to basics, looking at infrastructure, refactoring things where they needed to be, and really putting the building blocks in place to be able to continue the growth and scaling over time. And part of that, is coming with the Pro Plus launch, which I'll go through in a moment. But a big part of it was moving away from, kind of the standard APIs and things that we have with companies like Stripe, and really started to build custom things for us that can allow us to hit 10, 20 billion a year without touching the side. So really, the lack of innovation, I would say, over the past couple of years has been for good reason. Certainly, feel like we're in a very, very good position now, especially on the Pro Plus platform to grow from there. And I'll be walking you through some of the things that we're going to be, working on, already working on, some of the things we'll be working on in the very near future as well. But to give a quick recap, on Pro Plus and where that is today, put a lot of effort into getting that out. So really appreciate everybody that has kind of, worked with us and moved across. And the response has been phenomenal so far. So we are over 2,300, merchants have moved over. The feedback has been, very, very positive in terms of, what we're seeing as well. And we're only 2 months in at this stage. So, we're already processing hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in transactions across across the user base that has moved over, and we are expecting that to continue going up and to the right, which is certainly what we like to see. But yeah, generally speaking, unlike some of the teething issues and other things that happened with the enhanced update, we spent over 6 months in beta. As I mentioned, this is an API and a platform that we've custom built with Stripe, so we're no longer relying with the kind of out of the box solutions that are available, and really not designed for a platform like ours, which is certainly one of the top platforms, on Stripe and PayPal and certainly would be anywhere else. So so far so good. Lots more to come, but the feedback has been very, very positive across the broad base. That obviously extends to 7- and 8-figure merchants on the platform as well. Just a very small selection here, of kind of some of our kind of power users. So we definitely have been, testing this, throughout the range in terms of usage on the platform, and we're not seeing any issues in terms of 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure businesses processing payments or anything like that. And importantly, we did a huge amount of work to make sure that Stripe Connect Plus, which is the platform that the Pro Plus is built on, was compatible with all versions of ThriveCart. So we like to consider this as a non-disruptive update. In kind of the traditional terms that are often used, the enhanced update was definitely a disruptive update in the sense that lots of work needed to be done to actually kind of move across, rebuild checkouts and those kind of things. But this certainly isn't that. So we've seen people being able to move across very, very quickly. Works with all existing products, all versions of ThriveCart, and just getting out and continuing to transact without any disruption. So as I said, the feedback's been very, very positive, but we're continuing to be extremely diligent, making sure, where there are things that come up, our team, as I said, that, over 125 people now, we are, on it and very, capable and able to address anything that does come up. But the platform itself, as I think we've touched on here and certainly touched on in a lot of our communications so far, is built on a new platform. So Stripe Connect Plus, lots of benefits to that, including now it's up to 100 additional payment options in there, better AI fraud prevention, advanced security features, leading to much faster checkouts overall as well. And it's also enabled us to roll out some long-standing things we really wanted to get out. But as I touched on earlier, we wanted to build it on a platform and on a base that we really felt could scale over time. So things like multiple order bumps, enhanced reporting, and I'll go through some of the other features too. There are other things that are going to be coming in the future as part of this as well. Affiliate payouts will be one of them. I believe we'll be the first in the world to have affiliate payouts directly through Stripe, which means essentially there'll be a treasury offering in Stripe. You'll be able to hold money on account in Stripe, and you'll be able to send that to other Connect Plus users in Stripe as well. So removing the need to use PayPal Business, which is the current setup, which obviously works well, but we appreciate it does cause friction, in the actual cycle there. So that's something we're very excited about and working very closely with Stripe. And part of the Connect Plus the reason that we moved and have been working so hard on Connect Plus with Stripe is that it means we'll be able to bring lots of firsts to market as well. So affiliate payouts will be one of those things. We're tipping that for, towards the end of this year, if not very, very early next year. And there'll be many other things that come down the pike as well, built around the Connect Plus platform, which we just weren't able to build them on the kind of the enhanced and legacy versions of Stripe. So we're obviously very excited about that, but very, very excited about the features that we are bringing to market, today as well. So here we have a kind of cluster of all the things that they generally fall into two categories. So category number one is revenue generating, kind of revenue uplift items, and then the second category are reporting items. So to go through some of the big ones that we have definitely seen good uplift with so far. Multiple bumps. That's the one that everyone been waiting a very, very long time for. As I touched on, we wanted to make sure it was built, on a platform that we know can scale and can continue to scale into the future. So at this stage, we're seeing reported AOV increases or kind of average order increases of up to 48%. So very, very happy with the way that's been going. Currently, you can there are up to 6 bumps that you can have there. There's show and hide, logic and rules, but we're not stopping there. So we're going to be bringing other forms of conditional logic to multiple bumps too, and we're going to be bringing bonus bumps as well. So the ability to bump a bump, which I think will be very interesting, especially for merchants to have, users to have big catalogs, or maybe have things that are specifically related to courses that you might be bumping as an additional add-on or upsell there, that can be delivered, shown immediately and delivered immediately too. So we will kind of continue to roll out and bring other things related to multiple bumps over time as well. We're also going to be working on the process of decoupling all of the bumps, so they can actually be used as or kind of set up as kind of products as well. So if a bump is performing particularly well and you decide you actually want that to be a front end product, you'll be able to do that. It won't be a case of having to go back and redesign it and rebuild everything. So there will be much more flexibility built in and built around the bumps, but also the general logic of how ThriveCart can be used in the future as well. But seeing some very, very promising signs there, and for anybody on Pro Plus already that hasn't had the time or opportunity to go and play around with bumps, one of the first things I would suggest that anybody does. Another one which was widely requested was tax inclusive pricing. This is a big one, especially in kind of certain regions of the world, especially when it comes to kind of reasons, kind of citing reasons for cart abandonment. So I think 48% of shoppers cite this as a reason to abandon cart, and it definitely leads to an uplift in sales as a result for having that turned on. Certainly in kind of Australasia, South America, parts certainly Europe as well, and other parts of the world. So currently it's on off. It is an on off feature. We will be rolling out updates to that in the very near future that allows you to localize where you want to show tax inclusive pricing, where you don't want to show tax inclusive pricing. So there'll be more that comes with this, as well, but certainly available today and performing very, very well. Crypto payments is another one that we're very excited about. This is limited to US merchants at this point in time, but it will be rolled out into other regions over time as well. The thing we like about this, it is leading to about a 7% uplift in sales, reported. The great thing about this is you just turn it on. It then allows your kind of end customers to transact in USDC. You don't need to touch any crypto as part of that. As part of that process, Stripe will automatically convert that to US dollars, and then it appears in your general reporting that you would see anyway. So that is very, very low lift, but allows end customers that want to transact in that way, another option to purchase products. So that one again, very, very low lift, and what I would certainly recommend, those that are eligible for at this point in time, enable it, and we're working very hard to bring that to other regions and other parts of the world, too. Outside of that, other things that we're bringing to market that we would consider revenue generating kind of uplift items, QR codes at checkouts, very, very widely used and adopted. There was definitely a period about 5 or so years ago where we all thought QR codes would be going away and replaced with something else. But, following, 2019 through 2023 or so, the QR codes have really kind of made a huge comeback. So very happy to kind of be bringing this out as part of the Pro Plus upgrades. This was great for anybody, firstly doing anything in person, running events, running webinars, also webinars, and anything like that. I mean, I'm definitely a person that will scan a QR code to my phone from my computer screen or desktop, because with Apple Pay and Google Pay and everything else, it's just extremely easy to check out and go from there. So one important thing to note with this, this can actually be pointed to any URL, so it doesn't necessarily have to go to your checkout, but certainly it certainly is available across a range of potential use cases. So that's one I would definitely encourage people to explore as and when or kind of where it might fit well within a funnel. The other side of this that I touched on as well that we're going to be bringing is updated, better and updated reporting. Part of that, so I think this one actually kind of touches across ROI, revenue generating opportunities, as well as reporting, but UTM tracking that we have started to show in the platform as well. So currently that's traffic sources, channels, campaigns, contents, keywords. We will continue to expand that out over time, and we've got some exciting things coming in terms of, being able to pull more ad campaign data, kind of direct data in from your kind of Meta, Google, Bing and other places, over time too. So I would just say at this stage, there is definitely more to come with regards to, helping create better reporting and uplift from, kind of paid advertising channels. Other big updates we've had have existed at the recurring revenue level. So, firstly, much better reporting, much more accurate reporting in terms of what we're able to now show through Stripe Connect Plus, but also kind of improvements to the actual logic as well. So things like replacing kind of MRR with ARR, silently cancelling out the previous subscription, prorating. There'll be prorating on the way down soon as well, and lots of other options that come with that too. So I would say this is one of those areas where we are making a huge investment into continuing to expand out the subscription engine overall, but definitely some very, very useful update to the logic and functionality and prorating that we are bringing out at this point in time as part of Pro Plus as well. So lots of great stuff there. And as I touched on, there's all new reporting too. So you'll see a new look and feel in terms of kind of what's in the platform. At this particular point in time, obviously, if anybody feels nostalgic and want to go back and see the old reporting, there is a button you can toggle on the top right of your dashboard to go back to the old views. But we are certainly investing a lot of time and a lot of energy into bringing more reports out, and we're always welcome to feedback on this. The odds are, if we track the data, it's not too difficult for us to report it, and we want to get into the habit of reporting, releasing new reports every 4 weeks or so. So you already would have seen updates of some new reports that have come out since we launched Pro Plus. Heat mapping sales data, I think, was one of them, for example, and we'll be continuing to bring more over time. So at any stage, please feel free to email us or contact us or DM us on the Facebook Academy with any ideas that you might have. We track a lot of data, as you could imagine, so lots of things we should be able to share and show over time. So the process itself, for anybody that hasn't done it yet, is a very simple and quick process. There are two camps. There is the Stripe accounts that were created pre-2020 and Stripe accounts that were created after 2020. For anyone after 2020, odds are you're an enhanced anyway. And we built a thing with Stripe called legal entity sharing, so it should just port across your data and be very seamless and easy as a process. Before 2020, you'll have a slightly older account, and you might need to go back in and kind of reconfirm, some information and some data there too. But it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes in total to get up and running on the new platform. So very, very easy. Once you've set that up, some common questions we've been receiving, firstly, I'll kind of just go over these quickly, although I'm sure, Thomas, they'll be in some of the Q&A bits as well later. So firstly, does it create a new Stripe sub account? Yes, it does. It links to your parent entity account, as long as you use the same email address across both accounts. That bit is very, very important. As long as you do that, it will connect the two accounts. It then becomes a Stripe sub account. Obviously, our reporting, aggregates all of your data across any Stripe account that is then connected, PayPal, authorized.net as well. But then if you go into Stripe, yes, you will have to toggle between those accounts, but Stripe have a way of kind of combining that data too. And we'll put a link or share a link of how that could be done if you want to look at your reporting in Stripe as opposed to in our dashboard for any reason. What happens to existing subscriptions? What happens to existing subscriptions and split pay payments? So currently, any subscription, split pay, rebill, or limited subscription rebills you have set up will stay on your initial instance of Stripe, so where they originate from, where they were created. Anything new would then be processed on Stripe Connect Plus. We have a tool that we're going to be launching in the next, I would say, 2 to 4 weeks. Don't necessarily hold me to that, but 2 to 4 weeks or so, where we will be. It's a tool that essentially allows anybody to move those subscriptions over. That is definitely not to be confused with the Stripe migration tool that you may see if you log into Stripe and start playing around. In there, Stripe have their own tool to migrate customers from other platforms onto Stripe, but this is a Stripe to Stripe migration, so that's something that we have custom built with Stripe and isn't available publicly. So that's something we'll be sharing with you all once it's released, but working on kind of the final stages of beta testing with that at the moment. Do I need to upgrade my funnels and checkouts? No, absolutely not. That is the reason we took so long getting this out and making sure that, unlike Enhanced, it wasn't a disruptive update. So all you need to do is connect the sign up to Stripe Connect Plus, connect that at the product level, which there's even a button that will allow you to kind of connect all, and then it works out of the box. So you don't need to rebuild any funnels, checkouts, or anything like that. It will just work. And then the other question we received, are transaction fees the same as Stripe billing, the Stripe billing with Enhanced and Legacy? Yes, they absolutely are. We one-for-one match and mirror the Stripe pricing. So the one difference I would say, though, is that with Stripe pricing and Stripe billing, they typically split out payments into multiple discrete transactions. So you will see usually your kind of 2.9%, plus 30 cents and above at the kind of initial time the transaction happened. But then the day later, or maybe in some cases further after that, they will come back and charge you for other elements if there was an FX item involved, a transaction, a transfer involved. If there was, if there was a subscription, it was a subscription payment, they're going to charge a little bit extra for that as well. So our reporting actually aggregates all of that into one clean number, so that you see exactly what was, exactly what the fees associated with that particular transaction. I mean, the other way of doing it, it is very time consuming, and I mean, near implausible that anybody has the amount of time free to go through and kind of put all those pieces together. So our tool, will actually look like it's a higher number, but it's absolutely not. It is one for one. We just aggregate everything into one payment, so that from an accounting perspective, very clean, very easy to understand, what you're ultimately paying, and very, very transparent. And obviously, if any questions on that, very happy to kind of go into that further and answer as well. But that's one of the things that, again, as part of Connect Plus, we were able to create something a little bit different, but hopefully something that, is much more useful and will save a lot of time in terms of, accounting, bookkeeping, and other things, going forward. So, yeah, that's kind of, at least 4 of the questions I've been hearing a lot about. I'm sure there are more, and we can go over those, later as part of this as well. So, what's next for the business? That's kind of the topic of why we're here today. Didn't want to spend too long going through Pro Plus again, but I think there's some value there. This is what we're looking at. So really lots of things that we're going to be working on for 2025 and beyond. Stripe and Stripe Connect Plus is the bit that we've spent a lot of time speaking about so far in this session, which obviously Pro Plus is built on top of, but there's lots of other things that we're going to be bringing to market in the very near future. So to go left to right, although these are not in any particular order in terms of, our timeline to release. Thrive Webinar is going to be coming to the platform very soon. We went through an acquisition process for a business called Stealth Seminar, which I think a lot of people in the ThriveCart community might already be using. 18,000 businesses have used Stealth Seminar lifetime, helped generate over $1.7 billion in sales. So has definitely been stress tested, which is one of the things we were looking for. There were lots of webinar platforms out there, but a lot of them had numbers much smaller to that, and we didn't want to bring something in and expose it to the community unless we felt it had the ability to handle the type of demand and volume we expect to see through this. So that will be coming into the platform hopefully later this year. That will be kind of available top of the funnel, midway through in the LMS, lots of places there. So I think there's gonna be some very interesting things we can do with that. We're also going to be building a lot of AI functionality and capability on that too. So think the ability to use AI to help you kind of create the kind of webinars and auto webinars in the first place, but then also kind of creating materials, courses, assessments, quizzes, those type of things, coming out of those that have been recorded as well. So lots of work that we're going to be doing to the Stealth Seminar platform, but that is going to be coming in to the ThriveCart ecosystem. Similarly, we made another acquisition of a company called PictoChart, which for any of you who don't know it, is very similar to a platform like Canva. It's all AI first in terms of kind of design studio, graphic generations, ebook generations, documents, slides, graphics for social media campaigns, advertising campaigns, all of those kind of good things as well. So we see a huge amount of overlap with a lot of the creative items that are being kind of provided and used, kind of offered to your end customers on the platform. So that will, come in as a design studio. That will be built around and, on top of a new editor that we're going to be bringing out, bringing into the platform as well. Again, hopefully later this year, which really lives on the bedrock of the Convertri editor that we acquired, some time ago now, but we've certainly been taking our time and kind of bringing that in as well. So the three items there combined, I think will be particularly powerful, but that's definitely not where we're stopping. We are going to be making major upgrades to the LMS as well. So certainly listen to a lot of the feedback that we've had around hosting in the LMS and quizzes and assessments and certificates and those things. So as you maybe can see, you'll be able to create a lot of those pieces, in the kind of Thrive design that will be coming across. And then obviously we want to make sure that you can host it and utilize those throughout the LMS as well. So there'll be big upgrades coming to that. There'll be community elements that are going to be coming into the LMS longer term as well. So 2025 and beyond, those first bits, I definitely think we'll get those this year. Community most likely, into the new year, kind of 2026 there too. But then obviously, definitely not stopping there. We're going to be making the LMS an app experience as well. So that's something that you'll be able to kind of offer to your students, as an entry point to it. So, and that'll be something that you can brand, completely brand as well. But that will, serve a couple of purposes. Firstly, we have a lot of data in our LMS right now. We have over 4 million students across over 12 million courses. So we can see a lot of use cases and we get a lot of feedback as to kind of what's working, what's not working. One of the big bits of feedback that we continuously get is that people want to take a more audio and visual approach to the way the courses are set up in the first place. So having an app will certainly enable that to happen. But then the other thing that will come with huge upgrades to the actual customer experience as well. As they go in, being able to see and experience the course, being able to see and experience other courses that you may have to offer, as next in sequence or upsells as well. So moving away from the idea that you've sold someone into a course, they've had a really good experience, they've gone all the way through, the end, and you have to kind of move them back to the top of the funnel to then sell them something else. You want to be able to actually show that in the LMS itself as well. So, again, idea of increasing, average order value, conversions, and all the good stuff there in between too. So there are going to be big updates that come to the LMS, certainly across some of the very commonly requested features, across the community elements, but then also making that a kind of mobile and app first experience for people, as well as improving the kind of desktop experience there too. So as you can imagine, that will be a phased approach. That will take us at least 6 to 12 months to get all of that out, but it is a very kind of firm focus in terms of what we're looking at doing, just because the kind of learn plus platform is such a hugely kind of widely used part of our ecosystem. Beyond that, other things we're going to be bringing to market as well, or kind of improving, I would say. So Thrive Convert, you'll see on here, is Convert Box itself. There's going to be lots of improvements that come to that product that we have, and we'll actually be kind of bringing that in, so it'll feel kind of slightly less disjointed. Again, it is a very, very good product. I think it's kind of very underutilized at this stage, purely because they kind of ThriveCart and ConvertBox do live as two separate things. So we want to be bringing all those a lot of those MarTech tools kind of into the platforms. You have kind of direct use of that. But then we'll also kind of continue to build from there. The affiliate platform will be getting some big upgrades too. I mean, we already touched on one of the upgrades, which is working on a kind of first to market solution with Stripe to allow affiliate payouts through Stripe, directly, as well as being able to offer that through, PayPal too. So it won't be one or the other. You'll be able to do both. But I think that is something that will hopefully reduce a lot of friction, and, allow for kind of much more seamless onboarding and kind of continued payouts over time. So there'll be, that as an update, there'll be updates to the logic of kind of how payouts, can be utilized and work, over time as well as then obviously improving the product itself. So big upgrades in terms of reporting, in terms of some of the functionality there too. And we'll be kicking off a focus group, over the next couple of weeks, if not kind of, middle of next month, to kind of actually start gathering a lot of feedback, hopefully as to some of the things that, should be included as part of that as well. So expect some communication from us on that as we go forward too. Other things that, probably don't need to go into too much detail right now, but we will eventually be bringing, a conference facility out as well. I mean, that will mainly be targeted around virtual events. We know a huge amount of people are running kind of virtual events on, kind of to drive leads, in the first instance, and, often, further down the funnel in the LMS as well. So we, certainly are, very, very keen and interested in kind of doing more there. So that will include an update to the logic of payments to bring things like ticketing and invoicing out as well. So that's something that our payments team are currently scoping out and working on. So there will be kind of expanded flexibility in terms of, the types of carts and, checkout experiences you can bring. And at some point in the future, we will, migrate towards a kind of, traditional cart experience in a more kind of e-commerce function, there too. So we see this as a nice stepping stone to expanding, certainly into ticket sales, and then also kind of an invoicing platform as some of these might be kind of higher ticket items that are being offered too. So we want to give more flexibility in terms of, certainly in terms of the type of payment, kind of the type and way payments are collected. And then the two ones that, are still here on the screen to touch on. So Thrive Market, as you can imagine, a marketplace helping, you will drive, get more eyeballs and drive more demand, overall as well to help, augment the sales that certainly already exist to the tune of $2 billion a year. But certainly want to do our part, in that too. So there'll be kind of, again, focus groups that come out about, what exactly that could look like. And then the other one is Thrive BI. So that's kind of the business intelligence unit that we want to be rolling out. That is actually quite an expansive piece, and a piece that will be kind of continue to iterate over time. So it will build on a lot of the reporting that we're doing today. But ultimately, the idea of this is that, look, we don't process your payments. Ultimately, that's Stripe and PayPal and Authorized on that, and plus whoever else we might bring into the platform in future. But we are, we're sat on a huge amount of data. We are sat on data across all the platforms, and we want ThriveCart to become kind of a central point or a source of truth when it comes to analyzing data. So part of that means expanding what we're actually, data we're exposing, showing. And as I touched on, very, very interested in any ideas, anybody has in terms of, some of the new reporting and items that we want to bring there. But then the other side of that equation is we want to make the reporting much more accessible, easy to use. And that is going to mean many things. So in some cases, it's going to mean generating new types of reports that do a lot of benchmarking work, so showing you where you might be on a bell curve compared to anonymized peer data to understand where do you have refund rate issues? Where are you growing the most? And those type of things. But then taking it a step further to use AI agents. So the idea that we want to be able to offer AI agents to anybody that wants to use them to actually then go in and mine your own data to really understand, okay, I did 3 launches last year. Which one was most successful? Why was it most successful? What was the best AOV? Which one is seeing the highest or lowest rate of churn? What's my NRR across these particular cohorts? So really having an assistant there, AI assistant there, to dive into a lot of that data, give you information on the fly, and then help, actually kind of scope out what's next in terms of, the next product launch or release or whatever else it might be. So yeah, that's something that we want to get very, very serious about. And we have some very exciting things, I think, coming, both in AI and a non-AI capacity across the rest of this year, but then obviously continued into the future there as well. So there's certainly lots on this screen in terms of things we're going to be working on. There are other things not on this screen yet that we're thinking longer term, 2026, 2027, and 2028. So there is definitely a wider path. We appreciate that our role and responsibility here certainly is to deliver stability and to make sure the platform works really well as intended. And we also want to provide innovation where we can to hopefully help reduce the amount of things in anybody's given tech stack and kind of help minimize to focus more time on selling and running businesses and generally being successful, which is something that we certainly see a lot of across the platform. So that's where we'll probably leave it for today. I'm sure there's kind of lots of questions coming in that I think Thomas has been looking at, and we're very happy to go through the ones that were brought up in advance, any that have come up here now as best we can as well, and hopefully give a little bit more kind of context and clarity and insight into Pro Plus plus anything here that we have on screen. So Thomas, I'll hand it back to you to start going through some of the Q&A.
Cool. Thanks, Ismael. That was very helpful. There's many of you who have been sending in questions as we've been going. As I mentioned at the start, I'm going to prioritize the ones that were submitted in advance. So I'm going to read through them. Ismael will answer some, I'll answer some, and then hopefully we'll get a chance to do some of the live questions as well at the end. So let's start. And these are in no particular order, so I'll let kind of Ismael answer them as we go. When is the quiz feature coming? Like, do you have a date in mind for that?
So that will come as part of the LMS, the Learn Plus LMS upgrade. So that will be later this year. We do have another business called Quizitory, which does top of the funnel quizzes. I don't think we've ever really spoken about that in a huge amount of detail. Thomas will probably drop the link to that afterwards as well. But yeah, if we're talking specifically about quizzes and assessments and certification as part of the Learn Plus platform, that will be coming towards the tail end of this year.
Yeah, I've just put a link to the chat for a link in the chat for everyone to Quizitory. So that's another business that we run. So there's a question about the general business model. I know quite a few of you mentioned you're new to ThriveCart, or you're maybe even thinking about signing up. So is the new business model $495 for life for the basic ThriveCart, and then an annual subscription for Learn Plus? And if they've already acquired Lifetime, do they get continued updates for all the future products as well?
Yeah, so it might be a little bit of confusion there. So yes, the front end product, the $495 Lifetime, that is there. That will continue to be there, and that's not going to change. For any new customers to the business, the Pro Plus upgrade is $295 on an annual basis, and Learn Plus is then a separate $195, on a lifetime basis currently. So that's how it is today. Anybody who was a kind of standard customer was offered a discounted rate to sign up to Pro Plus, although that has now elapsed. And I believe it's 22nd of June is the final date for the grandfathering of Pro users into Pro Plus. But yeah, the headline is $495 is the kind of base standard product. Pro Plus for new users is $295 a year annual subscription, and then Learn Plus currently is $195 on a lifetime basis.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. And then I guess some general questions around some of the future products that are being built. Like, is there an idea of what the pricing is going to look like? Are these going to be included in Pro Plus? Are they going to be part of Learn Plus? Are they going to be separate subscriptions, or how might that work?
Yeah, so I mean, first thing to say is I want to just clarify the business model because I know that I have personally seen in the Facebook Academy and certain other places, people kind of, asking the question, how does the business support itself? I mean, the lifetime model, etc. So the first thing to say is, we're a company that processes, approximately and over $2 billion a year in payments. What that means is we can go to companies like Stripe and like PayPal and work with them on monetization. So out of their margin, instead of that being something that, our kind of platform users, have to be concerned about. So I'm very aware that there are others in the industry that also do that and then charge lots of subscriptions on top of that too. That's currently not our business model. As we look to expand over time, we will absolutely do everything we possibly can to include as much of this into Pro Plus as possible. There are certain things that will cost us more money over time. So in certain instances, will cost us more money to deliver, host, maintain, etc. over time. So where there are kind of direct costs to us, we may look at ways that in a fair way those can be passed on. But those would always be for kind of value add things, or if we are helping you move off something, a very expensive subscription somewhere else, for example. So let's take a world where we have an LMS or a Learn Plus is completely, feature comparable and better than Kajabi. You move across, you save $200, $300, $400 a month. There may be something associated, with that in terms of a charge. But the idea is that we want to create win-win situations where more money is left with you to go back and reinvest into, advertising and things to grow the business over time. Because as I touched on, we make the majority of our money through, monetizing, the GMV, or the gross merchandise value. So the more you are making, the more we are making, everybody wins. So there is a very, very direct and linked, outcome there that we are all seeking. We're definitely not going to be trying to, add on lots of expensive subscriptions or anything like that. And hopefully Pro Plus was a good example of that. Like, there was a world where we could go very, very expensive with Pro Plus. We tried to keep it, to an absolute minimum in terms of, what could be charged, for that on an annual basis. And our whole thing is we want as many people on the platform as possible to be processing as much in terms of transactions as possible too, and just being extremely, inclusive and trying to get as many kind of creators, coaches, businesses, entrepreneurs, to do the type of things that everybody is doing so successfully on the platform too. So we'll always seek to go, to reduce where we can. In some areas, that's not going to be possible, but hopefully, as we've demonstrated with our approach, over the last, at least couple of years that we've acquired and been running the business, we're not here to, put huge price increases in place or anything like that. We're here to grow the ecosystem and community.
Yeah, thanks, Ismael. There's been a few more questions around pricing. So just to be 100% clear, if you were offered a deal to either upgrade to Pro Plus for a lifetime deal, or you're an existing Pro user and you got a free upgrade. So if you're a Pro user, you've not yet done it, you've got until the 22nd of June, so 4 more days to upgrade. If you do not upgrade by that date, it will then be the full public price for everyone else, which is $295 a year. If you take advantage of it before that date, you do not then have to pay for it afterwards. So the subscription, it's not a free trial or anything like that. You get your upgrade. We will honor that for life. Like Ismael said, we're trying to make the platform as affordable as possible for everyone and make it so that as much of your business as possible lives within the ThriveCart ecosystem. So going back to the questions that were pre-submitted. So I know it's still a little way out, but I'm incredibly excited to be able to pay out affiliates through Stripe and be able to ditch PayPal altogether. I think many of us are there. So I'd love to hear about how that's coming along. I've seen affiliates asking in the past why it's required when it's not available in the country. So this option will be very interesting to me. So I think Ismael, you answered that already a little bit during the presentation, but maybe you want to talk a bit more about the dates and the potential timeline for having that rolled out.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are targeting end of this year with that. We are, our team and the Stripe team are working very hard, to make that happen. This is a first in the world thing. So there may be, things that we haven't addressed yet come up, foreseen as part of that process, but we're doing everything we possibly can to get that out, by the end of this year. The reason that it's not particularly easy to do, or hasn't been done in the past, certainly, is, we are having to rebuild, or essentially build an entirely new flow with Stripe, and that is now available because they have a lot of treasury and card and other functions in there, so they can act a little bit like a bank in that sense, or they're not technically a bank. Whereas previously that option didn't exist. So instead of having something like your treasury account sat next to your kind of Connect Plus balance and being able to move money, between those, which then obviously facilitates it. It's a similar technology to move money between those as to move it to somebody else on the Connect Plus platform. So that can then be done. Previously that wasn't there, so it wasn't really an option. That's why we've always had to use, something like, we've had to use kind of PayPal Business. PayPal Business was important to use because it had the clawback features for refunds, and those elements as well. Although the way we're designing this with Stripe, that is something that you'll have much more flexibility over in terms of, when does that money get released, to the affiliate? Do you want to hold it on a transit account for a period of time before, let's say, your refund window runs out, or so it'll actually bring a lot more flexibility, make it a lot cleaner as well. But historically, it's been PayPal that have kind of given us, the PayPal Business specifically, that have given us the ability to do that. That will obviously continue. You won't need to go and force migrate all your affiliates. We have over 350,000 affiliates on the platform, so we're not going to force migrate anybody to go and use Stripe necessarily, but it's going to be an option, going forwards, and one that I think will remove a lot of friction, because setting up a PayPal Business account sometimes is just too big a hurdle for an affiliate to want to do in the first instance.
Yeah, thanks, Ismael. So I think really helpful. And just for everyone's reference as well, ThriveCart also uses ThriveCart, so we use the affiliate system ourselves. A lot of what we're building with the Stripe team are features we want. Our affiliate program generates millions of dollars a year in sales and payouts to affiliates. So much like all of you, we're living the same problems day to day, the same challenges, and we're all working on the same things. So someone asked a question related to Pro Plus upgrade and Stripe Capital. So just to keep that one simple, if you currently have a Stripe Capital loan in a previous business or another business, and you want to migrate that across, that's absolutely no problem at all. All of your Stripe accounts are essentially connected within the Stripe ecosystem. What we've done is it does require a little bit of manual work. So I'm in the chat now. I'm putting in a link. So if you just fill that out, there's a very quick form. Someone in the team will be in touch, because we can essentially migrate your capital loan to a new account and make sure that the payments are still non-disrupted. So we have been working on that behind the scenes. So I'll put the link in the chat. We'll send it around afterwards as well. So Ismael, question around, this is getting a bit more technical, a bit more specific. So can you support ways to indicate that the contents of a receipt or a PDF has important info in it, like the Zoom link, so people can download and open it? Can there be a calendar function in there as well? I've read that,
yeah.
But
in terms of feature requests, open to all suggestions. We are much better geared up as a team now. So through the usual channels. We'll take all of these. We'll go away and we'll look at them. Where it certainly makes sense to do something like that. One of the pieces I would say is there are going to be multiple updates to invoicing. So obviously there's all the e-invoicing directives that we're working on. So firstly, there's lots of parts of the STC click to cancel things that are coming very soon. We have the e-invoicing directive in the EU as well. We have our new invoicing platform that I touched on as part of this. So there are going to be multiple opportunities to kind of add, improve, pieces there too. So yeah, we'll take that feedback away. We'll, and our requests away. We'll discuss it as a team, and hopefully be able to provide something that meets the need.
Yeah, so I would say for everybody's reference, like Ismael mentioned, but to be 100% clear, anytime we submit a question or message on the Facebook group or to the support team, we do amalgamate all of this feedback. We won't necessarily answer you in real time, but the team goes through literally everything that gets submitted. So even if we don't get a chance to answer your question now, that doesn't mean we haven't read it, and it doesn't mean we won't take it into account. And obviously, we're going to try and include as much of the features you all asked for as possible. Few questions.
And sorry, so there's one thing I would add on that, and this is definitely not scalable over time, but Thomas and I do also personally spend a lot of time reading the comments and feedback that in the Facebook community and other places there as well. So we definitely have feature request lists, channels, etc. Just know that does certainly get to us, plus all the right people that all the right product managers and and developers and everybody else that can actually do something about it too. So we really do appreciate those, and we hope that people that they keep coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So Yeah, so I think this is a question you should be able to answer quite easily. Can you review how existing customers can choose a different payment option for their subscription to my course? For example, if they want to switch from monthly to annual or vice versa?
Yeah, so that will be part of the recurring, upgrades that we have. So I think if I'm answering the question correctly, the ability to, somebody comes in on a, monthly plan, they want to, you're going to target and kind of move them, as part of maybe your upsell flow to an annual plan. The product now has the ability to, migrate them up, quietly cancel out the previous membership, prorate that as well, and then obviously all the invoicing, updates and sequences that goes with that too. So that exists. It works on the way down as well, except currently it does not prorate on the way down. That's an option we're going to be bringing out later if people want to use it. I mean, the industry standard really is that you don't necessarily kind of prorate or refund, on the way down as well. And that's also going to be touching some logic that's going to be coming to the Learn Plus LMS as well, which is changing the way changing the way that access is provided at this point in time too. So currently access on the way down is kind of revoked immediately. We're going to be bringing something out in the next couple of weeks that allows you to kind of decide how that's treated as well to continue to end of term and those kind of bits too. So yeah, a lot more functionality in terms of the subscription logic. We're doing a lot of work behind the scenes. I wouldn't say kind of subscription engine is like a roadmap item here, but there's lots of work behind the scenes to continue to provide more in terms of flexibility there too. We'll be doing a lot more in terms of reporting subscriptions as well. So for anybody that's used a product like Baremetrics or Profitwell, we're going to be bringing that style of reporting into the BI and into the platform too. So yeah, we definitely want this to be a place that you feel very good and confident about managing those subscriptions, both on the logic and on the reporting side.
Yeah, thanks. So there's quite a few more questions coming in related to like what's going to be included in what. So just to be 100% clear, the majority of things getting built will be built for Pro Plus users as part of that. There'll be some things that we built as part of Learn Plus, and then some of the things that Ismael's outlined on this slide at the moment might be separate products or separate charges, particularly where there's variable expenses related to them. Like, for example, like course hosting or something like that. That's unlikely to be part of any sort of like lifetime deal because it doesn't make it's impossible to offer like something like hosting on a lifetime deal in any sort of like sustainable way that makes sense. So Ismael, another question. I think this is all like related to like the vision behind like Learn and Learn Plus. So will ThriveCart add a feature to the student dashboard where we can categorize our products and courses? I sell therapy handouts with a monthly membership. I created the membership as a bundle of digital products and then display all on the student dashboard, but there's no way to make it clean.
Yeah, absolutely. So that will be part of that as well. And we're actually be taking that a step further, so outside of the LMS, categorization in terms of, products that you're selling and other bits within the dashboard too. That's going to be, part of a wider kind of UI UX update that's going to be coming too. But yeah, yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. We already touched a little bit on migrating. If you have a existing subscriptions in Stripe and you want to migrate them across, we did address that one already. I'm just going to post the wait list again. So if you want help with that, fill out the wait list, and sometime around like early July, like Ismael said, like 2 or 3 weeks, that should be ready, and we'll reach out one-on-one. Quite a few of you, and I think Ismael, maybe there's bigger time to talk about it. Like we're talking about, and you mentioned this during a presentation, quite a few questions around like how we're going to take on board feedback in real time, like focus groups. So what we're going to be rolling out, and this is definitely not public information at the moment, but I think we can talk a little bit about it. Is we're going to roll out something called Thrive Labs, and Thrive Labs is going to be a group of call it like ThriveCart power users. Like many of you, a lot of you are asking like very technical questions, which are like basically impossible for us to answer in real time, really specific feedback about your use cases. So Thrive Labs is essentially going to be a group of power users. And then for all of the new features, all of the new products, everything we're going to build, you're then going to have the ability to like pick and choose areas where you feel like you want to provide some like detailed input. And that would be like very much like community style. So most likely we'll have a Slack channel. Some of you are actually already in our Slack channel already. And then we'll have like smaller focus groups for particular areas we're building out. Because to Ismael's point earlier and to my point, every time people submit questions and submit feedback ideas, we do amalgamate all of these. But it's really helpful from us to hear from you all how you use ThriveCart. I think there's one thing, Ismael and I are both relatively new to the ThriveCart business, but I think both of us are constantly surprised how like entrepreneurial everyone is. Like people are using the platform in all sorts of different ways that would never really envisioned when the platform was first built nearly 10 years ago. So for example, Ismael briefly mentioned like conference functionality. Some of you are using ThriveCart to sell conference tickets, which was definitely not in the original vision for the platform. But it makes complete sense. Like if you're coaching or doing courses, that you're going to offer retreats or conferences, events. So that's something we'll add in. And there's lots and lots of hundreds of examples of where that's the case. So we can't officially tell you anything other than what I'm telling you right now, but there will be a upcoming announcement probably in about the next month or so where you can do that. So in the meantime, also on the screen, you'll see a waitlist if you want to migrate your subscriptions, just fill that out. Okay, so moving further forward, some questions around, so Ismael, I've like you or I on this one. So what about version 2.0 of the API? Is there anything we can share about what's planned there?
Yeah, so the API, or the series of APIs, I should say, are going to be getting a big upgrade, big upgrades over time, I would say. So we have staffed up now in terms of so we have a squad model, for those of you that are familiar with what that is, and we have specialists in each of those squads that are going to be touching various parts of the API. So again, feedback is always very, very welcome with that. Obviously, as Thomas touched on, lots of people using lots of things in lots of different capacities. So might not necessarily be the case that we know of every single piece, and there might be certain things that certain API integrations, connections that people want over time, like Flowdesk is one, for example, I know is being worked on. In general, though, like our strategy with APIs, in addition to increasing the functionality, endpoints, and so on, will actually be moving or kind of also providing, something called an MCP server layer. So that's going to live under Thrive AI, and essentially which will literally be Thrive.ai, and that will essentially allow us to connect with any other service out there that has an MCP server layer. So I think Zapier recently have brought one out as well. So essentially, what that does is it moves away from an API scenario where you need to create, you need to map out all of the inputs and all of the endpoints, and then those need to meet up. And anytime someone, one side or the other decides something's changed, that input and endpoint can break, which happens quite a lot. I mean, we have 41, I think, or 42 active direct integrations at the moment, plus Zapier, plus I think a lot of people are using make.com and and some of the other ones out there. So those companies, for whatever reason, might change, something to do with their API, and we only find out like once it's too late, effectively. So what an MCP server does is essentially, you essentially have an AI agent type thing that lives on top of the API, and then we would have one on our server, and then effectively the servers just talk to each other, say, look, this is the information I'm allowed to present to you. Great, this is the information I'm trying to collect, and those two elements just continuously talk. So if one endpoint changes, in any way for whatever reason, as long as that data remains exposed, then the MCP server will continue to digest that information and provide it in whatever kind of output it needs to be provided in. So MCP servers probably had a lot of buzz around about that in kind of the AI circles. That is one thing that I think that we'll be seeing more and more of over time. It means we can do a lot more as well. We could bring on a lot more integrations. Obviously, we spend a lot of time here talking about trying to remove the reliance on other things over time as well. But technology is technology, and will continue to expand, and new and great things will. I think one thing that we've consistently seen across all sectors is that in tech, new and great things will continue to evolve over time. So we'll need to do more. MCP service is a really, really good way of doing that. We'll be creating and providing our own, but we'll also be doing much more in terms of the underlying APIs that sits on too. So again, any feedback welcome. After this, we'd certainly love to take that to our product and development teams.
Cool. Thanks, Ismael. Well, I only managed to get an hour in Ismael's diary, and appreciate all the questions. There's literally been hundreds, so it's going to be impossible for us to get them all through them all now. So my offer to all of you, if you check the chat now, I'm putting a link to our new YouTube channel. We launched this about 2 months ago. Lots of questions around educational materials around ThriveCart. All of those are going to go on our YouTube channel. For those of you who've been asking about recording for the webinar, we'll edit this and send it out in the next couple of days. So subscribe to the channel. You'll be the first to hear about it as well. Lots of other questions related to like future materials we're going to create. Everything we create will end up on the YouTube channel as well. So you'll hear about it first. We are going to run these webinars on a more like regular basis as well. There's like lots of demand to speak to people like Ismael directly. I think it's very helpful to hear like directly from the team. Like, we are real people. We do read all your messages. We are very grateful for those of you who take an hour out of your day to come listen to us talk about the platform. So we're going to wrap up here. Thanks everyone for the questions. Many of you have asked like questions which are probably more relevant one-on-one. We will have someone to follow up with all of you. Certainly appreciate everyone else's questions. It's been impossible to answer all of them, but hopefully we've managed to cover like the vast majority. Very grateful for everyone's time. Any questions, obviously you can always email the support team. Feel free to send a message in. Appreciate the time. And thanks very much to everyone. And thanks, Ismael. Really appreciate the time. It was very good.
I appreciate everyone joining. Thank you.
Thank you.